Hey guys, welcome back to Vinceville Custom. So today I'm sharing with you a Captain Britain garage kit I'm going to be putting together. It's sculpted by AVAY Sculptor and it's molded and casted by Scott Rizzo and Angelo. This is basically a Bowen design scale item. It's pretty much in line with all the Bowen stuff. If you're a Bowen collector, you know a lot about it. This is just one of those ones that I guess my friend is actually trying to complete in his line of collectibles that Bowen didn't do. I thought Bowen did one of these, but I remember he only did a bust. He never did a full-size one. So AVY Sculptor did a really good job. It's a really nice sculpt. Everything looks pretty good. Now, this was a 3D print I have. So this I'm going to be painting up this 3D print. Now, I think what they did is they molded and casted this, and there's going to be copies up for sale. So if you see all these lines on the item, that's basically because they molded and casted it. And there's a lot of like little clay gunk in there because you usually use clay and then you pour your mold on it, you flip it over, you pull out the clay, and then you use some mold release and you put in your other mold and you have a two-part mold. So they have two bodies here, and this says a reprint. At least that's what it says, a reprint. But it's actually broken up here. I'm actually going to use the reprint one because it's a little bit cleaner and it also doesn't have all that clay gunk on there. It has a couple lines here from supports and this is broken, but I can repair all this on my own. You know, putting that there and getting that set up is not a problem. I can do all that. Now, one thing about this though is this is not really an item that I would be able to paint it separately and then glue it in at the end. This is something I'm going to put all together. Just because these key pieces are really okay if you're like new to the hobby and you're not really good for building and you haven't gotten used to it. If you wanted to paint it separately and put a couple dabs of glue, you can for like the arms. But for the legs, I still would suggest, you know, you put rods in there and you make these a little bit secure. Only because this right here has got like a lot of gunk in there. It's not letting this key go flush. So this has got to be set up. And plus, putting him in the base with just these two keys is kind of always a little bit iffy to me. I would rather make sure that there's like a rod or a magnet to hold him. So I'm going to have to take a little extra steps with that. Now as far as the base goes, it's got the little bit of the logo design on the base. Not sure how we're going to paint it yet. I would envision that this would be a good paint up where this is a black base and this is kind of like a, you know, I would say like a copper or something. I think that would look pretty cool. Only because doing like a black base and a heavy logo and the red outfit on him would kind of fight with the character. But I'll talk to my friend and see what he wants. So I guess this is definitely a 3D print because it looks like it is. I guess this is not really sure what this little white piece is. It seems like... Not really sure. That's kind of weird. I guess it's a filler or something they put in there. And then this is kind of broken with a little air thing. So you can see this shiny in this crack. I guess that's definitely 3D print. And this part over here is kind of like damaged. So what I'll do is I'll kind of just chip this away a little bit more with a Dremel. And then I'll put some Aves here and kind of clean that up. I'll clean this up. Whatever this is, I might try to get that out of there too. I'm not really sure yet. Because I might need to, if I do put a peg in here underneath his foot or something, I might need to fill this in because I think it's hollow. But he's printed up pretty good. So like if you guys ever buy a kit, like say if you ever buy a kit on eBay or somebody sends you something to paint up or you find somebody at a show and they're selling like kits and you see these lines on there, it's because what they did is they molded and casted it up and everything. So you can see all the lines going around the item. That kind of helps them where they're going to mold and cast and all that stuff. So there's a lot of little like clay and gunk in all these little areas. I'm going to go into the garage and I'm actually going to do a alcohol bath with a toothbrush and try to get all that clay out of there and really clean this up. I'm going to prime it all up. I'm going to let it sit with the primer today, and then what I'll do is I'll start like dremeling and getting everything ready and put it together. But yeah, the AVY Sculptor did a really good job on it. It really looks good. It definitely brings back the old days of Bowen collecting, you know. Really looks pretty cool. Now, one of the little side things I'll have to share in the video is Scott Rizzo, who does this stuff. Me and him have a long-standing joke in the hobby, and it's funny. I opened up the box, and I saw this penguin going doobie-doobie-doo with the Bud Light. I actually was laughing my ass off. So Scott, if you watch this video, I was in tears. I haven't opened up this package in a while because I've been so backlogged. But when I opened that up, it was funny. It's a long inside joke running with us, but I was actually, I knew right away who molded and casted all this up when I opened it. So it's always good to know a lot of people in the hobby and send inside jokes on stuff. But it's a pretty straightforward kit. It's a really good design. It's going to be fun painting it up. I'm just going to get in the garage right now, start cleaning this up, get it primed, and get it ready going. I think the only downside thing I think is where it's priming is this marker actually reacts to the primer, which I don't think it will. But if you ever use like a Sharpie and Duplicolor primer, so if you use this black Sharpie like this and you write on here and then you use a Duplicolor primer, the primer actually reacts to the Sharpie a little bit and then actually brings up the ink like to the top layer, and then it just doesn't really go away. So sometimes you got to sand it out and prime it again. But I try not to use my Sharpie with this. But I mean, if you use paint after the Sharpie is kind of on the primer, the paint doesn't really do anything to the Sharpie. It's just, I guess, the wet primer going on there sort of reacts. So I'll find out if this red marker has any issue or if it just comes right off. But then again, even if it does, I can hit it with a little sandpaper. You know, I just grab a little sandpaper here and just kind of, you know, probably just take it right off and it'll probably come off. So not really worried about it. So yeah, there you go. There's Captain Britain, Bowen Design Scale, really good sculpt. And hopefully I'll have this done in a month or so, and we'll have the final video up. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back with some more videos.